Welcome back to Across Louisiana. You know, one of the things that we love to do here on Across Louisiana is to bring you feel-good stories that are taking place right here in our community. We've got a couple of them for you today. The first is a chance for you to win a beautiful home and support a good cause in the process. And the second is a little feature that we're bringing to you about all the lives being saved right here in the greater Baton Rouge area by the Salvation Army. Both great stories. Take a look.
The Capital Region Builders Association is comprised of 922 members at this point. We lobby annually to minimize the cost of the homes, helping protect the builders, which in turn help to protect the consumer.
The Capital Region Builders Foundation is an organization that was created to provide assistance to various charities that need help. Over the years that we've been in existence, we have turned back to the community right at $18 million through various organizations that we work with. The Home for Good project is a project for the foundation where we look for a partner that's a charitable organization that needs help, that has different things that they're raising money for. We build a house. We probably built, I'm going to guess, 12 to 15 homes, and most of them have been for charities, with the exception of a couple of years ago, we did one for a veteran who returned from Afghanistan, who was severely wounded, and we put that young man in a home with all the things that he needs for lifting and wheelchair accessibility and things like that. So we do this every year, and this year we probably teamed up with one of the best organizations that really touches more people in Baton Rouge than you would think. We're teamed up with Woman's Hospital, and their need is great.
Woman's Hospital has been very intricate in my life. My daughter was born, and she was 6 weeks early, and she spent approximately 8 days in the neonatal ward at Woman's Hospital, and that was a very, very important part of my life for 8 days.
In addition to all those babies that are born with us, over half of our hospital is dedicated to cancer services, so breast and GYN cancer services. Those are huge issues in our community. So a whole lot of what we do is in the cancer care and cancer support. Another thing that we do at Woman's Hospital that most people aren't aware of, but it's a critical service in the community, is we treat 55% of the sexual assault victims within a 13-parish region. So, although extraordinarily traumatic for a woman, she's going to get incredible care at Woman's Hospital. And we're going to provide her with clothing and toiletries and some dignity and support services. So when she leaves our care, she has all the tools that she needs to recover, and she will never receive a bill from Woman's Hospital. And most importantly, she will have the evidence that she needs to go for conviction if she would like to do that. And several weeks ago, we had the opportunity to go through a sneak peek tour of the Home for Good, and what a tremendous property Mr. Flores and the Capital Region are building for us.
It's 4-bedroom, 3 baths. It's very well apportioned. It's flowing living space, large master area, master bath suite. The home itself is going to be very nicely done. All the vendors that are members of the CRBA and other people that are in the business have volunteered to donate materials, labor, and so on. So it's coming together very nicely.
In addition to the house, we now have a SUV that's going to be offered as a prize. You'll be able to have a chance to win both the SUV and win the house.
This is a brand new 2015 Buick Encore. It's a very, very, very nice vehicle. I like to do things that stay in Baton Rouge, that involve the betterment of the Baton Rouge community. I always like to just do something that has touched me in some way. And the neonatal ward at Woman's touched me about 19 years ago, and that was a big, big influence in my life when my daughter was born.
So you can feel really comfortable that your $100, you might get this amazing house, but that $100 is really going to go serve the weakest and the most vulnerable members of our community.
This is a way for our association to give back to the community, and I think that's very important. You can purchase the tickets now, and we will have the drawing in July.
People can buy a ticket at womans.org/win. We make it very easy, or they can go to the Capital Region website and buy a ticket from that website. They can also purchase a ticket at any of the Business First Bank retail centers in our community.
We began serving here in Baton Rouge, greater Baton Rouge area, in 1905. And so we've had continuous service of almost 100 years because we left for a couple of years and then came back. The mission that we try to fulfill every day is to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ and to meet human needs in His name without discrimination. And it doesn't matter how you come to us, who you are, what you've been through, what your beliefs are. We're here to help people. Raymond is a young man who came to the Salvation Army about 12 years old, and he came for a little while and then he kind of backed off because, you know, he had some kids in the neighborhood that were kind of wooing him toward a lot of the bad stuff, getting involved in gangs and things like that. And fortunately, through an acquaintance that he got reconnected to the Salvation Army, and his connection now is very strong.
The Salvation Army is like my second family. They are like my best friends, my brothers and sisters. They're always there when I need them, and on the right time. The Salvation Army saved me from my bad guys in my neighborhood. The Salvation Army showed me love and comfort that I have not received before. If it had not been for the Salvation Army, I'd rather been shot up, probably in jail, or in somebody's graveyard. But thanks to the Salvation Army, they really turned my life around. They brought me a long way. Now I'm at home in a peaceful household. My grandmother helping her out. Everything's feel nice now.
The Salvation Army really can benefit a person if they are ready and willing for the change that can take place in their lives. And I think we provide opportunities, and sometimes we provide resources through the community providing the Salvation Army resources. But ultimately, it's up to that person to step out in faith and do what's necessary to make a change in their lives.
You know, Walter's another interesting case. He's doing fabulous today, but he has been in prison. He was a tough person. He fought at the drop of a hat, and when you hear from him, you're going to say, is that the same guy that Captain Meredith talked about? Because he's gentle, he's loving. God has come into his life in a big way, and it's made such a tremendous difference.
If it had not been for the Salvation Army, I would probably be dead or either incarcerated, because my life had become very unmanageable. And with the help of the Salvation Army and the good people that carry the Salvation Army, I'm given a second chance at life. I was out of places to go. I had nowhere left to go, and I'd even went to the parole officer and tried to turn myself in, and God had a better plan for me. He said, look, go across the street to the Salvation Army and see if they'll give you a room over there and maybe you can stay.
There are a lot of needs in our community, and the Salvation Army wants to provide hope that those needs can be met in one way or another.
Looking back at myself now, I would never believe that I could be this person I am today. That God can truly take care of something that had managed to crawl so low and be so cruel and mean to everybody and care about nothing but yourself. And now all I can do is take care of others. That's all I want to do, because God gave me a chance, so I have to give back what was so freely given to me.
Our goal in the Salvation Army here in Baton Rouge is to really meet the individual and try to make an impact in an entire family.
I'd just like to thank the Salvation Army for bringing me a mighty long way.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Across Louisiana. I'd like to thank our guests for joining us today, Melissa Juneau and Tanya Bourgoin with the Emerge Center, and Mary Stein with the East Baton Rouge Parish Library. Get out there and have a great weekend, everybody.